Umgeni local municipality received 5.9 million rand. Msunduzi local municipality received 6.6 million rand. Endumeni local municipality received 5.1 million rand. In Mpumalanga province, Inkosi Albert Iltuli local municipality received 5.9 million rand. Nkomazi local municipality received 25.9 million rand. Bushbuck Ridge local municipality received 5.5 million rand. City of Mbombela received 9.6 million rand, and this totals to 231 million rand. Another municipal disaster recovery grant was transferred on 18 March 2025 to the affected municipalities in Free State, KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, Limpopo, and Mpumalanga, amounting to 669 million rands. These are the municipalities that received this allocation. Okay, oh yeah, get it out. In Free State, Masilonyana municipality received 18 million rand. Ditlhabeng municipality received 5 million rand. Matsimaholo municipality received 10.5 million rand. In KwaZulu-Natal, Mpofana municipality received 17.9 million rand. Alfred Duma municipality received 50.7 million rand. Danhausa local municipality received 11.2 million rand. Umlalazi municipality received 14.2 million rand. Inkosi Mtubatuba municipality received 19.7 million rand. Ndwedwe local municipality received 25 million rand. Maphumulo local municipality received 13.3 million rand. In Eastern Cape, Winnie Mandela municipality received 21.8 million rand. Buffalo City received 78 million rand. Nelson Mandela Bay received 89 million rand. Dr. Bayes Naidu received 11.4 million rand. Makana municipality received 29.1 million rand. Mdlambe municipality received 30 million rand. Gouga municipality received 12.8 million rand. Koukama received 10 million rand. Great K received 18.1 million rand, and Sengu received 19.5 million rand, and this totals to the amount of 669 million rand transferred in March 18, 2025. For the provincial unavoidable and unforeseeable allocation in 2025, the National Disaster Management Center, in collaboration with affected provinces, prepared a request to the National Treasury for the additional funding The Western Cape received an initial allocation of 947 million rand in February 2025, with other provinces to be considered soon. The department submitted the applications for the unavoidable and unforeseeable allocation in 2024 following provinces for the following provinces: Mpumalanga, Limpopo, Western Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. And these provinces will receive the consideration in terms of the unavoidable and unforeseeable allocation immediately in the month of May, once we have passed through the process of the new budget for the new financial year. I want to indicate that there are issues that we identified that becomes a problem once the money has been transferred to our municipalities. The monies that I'm speaking about, amounting to 1.444 billion, is already in the accounts of our municipalities. But what we notice in some of our municipalities is that the poor infrastructure planning and implementation becomes a serious factor. The poor workmanship is always noted once the money has been spent. Diversion from the original allocation. When money was allocated for a bridge, a municipality decided to use the money for salaries. Or when the money was allocated for a 3-kilometer road, a municipality decided to spend the money on 1 kilometer. Sometimes the money arrives or reaches the account of a municipality and they stay for months without appointing the implementing agents up until a time where we want to see what has been done by the money, only to find that the money is still lying in the account of the municipality and remain with no other option except to recall the money, because it is not meant to stay in the account of a municipality. It is meant for a project that was affected by disaster. The department, together with MISA, we are doing all it takes to ensure that we follow these monies that have been allocated and transferred to these municipalities, and we will see to it that there will be no diversion allowed. And any diversion or mismanagement that will occur in the monies that has been transferred to our municipalities, consequence management will follow. We will be following closely these monies, and again we are coming back in the month of May for more allocation from the new financial year, as we know that almost all of our municipalities have been affected by the disaster and bad weather which is occurring from now and again. Having said the above, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the dedicated officials and volunteers who are unwaveringly in their commitment reach out to help our people during the times of disaster, and often in the face of daunting and perilous conditions. Your courage and resilience truly inspires all of us for the good work you do in assisting our people when they are affected by bad weather, floods, and all other related conditions. A special thank you also goes to the South African Weather Services for their vital role in delivering timely and accurate information. We extend our appreciation to all our partners at a national level, provincial and local government, the NGOs and the community organization who stand united in this effort of assisting our communities during drought, bad weather, and flood times affecting our communities. The Provincial Disaster Management Center remains steadfast in coordinating our response to crises. We are working closely with municipalities, provincial authorities, and all other stakeholders to ensure that our affected communities receive the essential support they need to recover and rebuild. In conclusion, the allocation of disaster response and recovery grants is a testament to our unwavering commitment to safeguarding our communities and rebuilding our nation. As we navigate these challenging times, it is imperative that we work together, leveraging our collective strengths and resources to ensure a resilient and prosperous future for all the people of South Africa. Let us remain vigilant, proactive, and united in our efforts to mitigate the impacts of natural disasters and build a stronger, more resilient nation. Thank you for your continued support and dedication to this vital cause. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing us to communicate this intervention as we are living in the times of climate change. Thank you very much, Mr. Leso.
Thank you very much, Minister. Colleagues, this is time now for us to engage on the contents of the briefing. Indicate your media house. We will start. Yes, sir. No. Yeah, please, let's use the mic.
Minister, just in terms of how much money was asked or maybe applied for buying municipalities compared to the 1.4 billion that we gave the municipalities? I'm asking because I just want to find out, is the national government struggling with the frequency? I think you mentioned it, with the frequency of these natural disasters. They seem to be happening a lot as time goes by. Is the national government struggling with these applications from municipalities having to ask for more money? And just my last question, in terms of, you said 40 people have died, what is the timeline? I just want clarity. Is this for since the beginning of the year or for just KZN?
Next one, yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Minister. Minister, you mentioned that the municipalities or provinces have been categorized as a disaster, but not in declared. What will it take for government, all the departments, to declare them disaster? What needs to happen? Because if funds are allocated and then help is being given to them, but it cannot be declared a disaster. Very quick clarity on that, Minister, with regard to what will make the municipality or a province declare a disaster. And thank you so much, Minister, for mentioning that we will monitor all the parts that have been allocated. We are going to monitor it as well. Thank you.
Everyone, this is a paper from Africa. I just wanted to find out, will you be, or will you be working together with departments like Home Affairs? Because there are those who have lost their identity documents due to floods, and there are also, children certificates and documents like those. So will there be that assistance in that partnership with the Department of Home Affairs and other stakeholders? And also, when will this, when will be the rollout?
Last hand is for this round.
Hi there. Thank you so much for organizing this briefing. My name is Julia. I'm with Daily Maverick. So I just wanted to get some more details on the funding. So like, for example, on education, is this to like fix infrastructure of schools? I just have some more details on exactly how it's helping, like relocating people in their homes and hospitals, that sort of stuff. And then obviously, people need help now that the floods have happened, but is Cogta concerned or working towards how we can better prepare in the future? So, like you said, climate change is part of the issue, but and like the other part is infrastructure issues. So there's a lot of people living on floodlines in informal settlements that don't have proper draining or like broken mudslides. So they're more exposed to any flooding. So is there plans to work with communities, first of all, to have better like response times for people to evacuate, because that's trusting people here in advance with community leaders, and secondly, other times in the work to move people to safer land or make their houses safer when there's increased flooding.
Thank you very much. We are going to ask the leadership to take this round, and then we'll come back to the next one.
I will take the first one, and then we will distribute work on the following questions. I was saying I'm only taking this first one. The other one will be distributed to my colleagues. Let me start with the question as to how much money was initially requested for the the unforeseeable and unavoidable allocations. The request that is being still worked upon is 11 billion, taking the whole damage that is within the table of the National Treasury. That is why I said we are coming back in May. Once the budget, and it is a must that the budget must pass, because we can't afford to allow our people to stay under these conditions simply because politics overshadow the reality on the ground. So once the budget has been approved, as I'm saying, it's 11 billion submitted to National Treasury. We will be coming back in the month of May, and we will say this is the amount of money which could be made available for this financial year, and obviously we will be looking for the following year and the third year over the 3-year period. I think that is the response to the question. Secondly, the 40 deaths, yes, is for the period from December holidays up to now, is for the whole of the country. KwaZulu-Natal is the highest in terms of numbers, without knowing the latest, but KwaZulu-Natal was standing at 24 deaths over this period from December holidays up to the end of March. So 40 refers to casualties or fatalities throughout the country. Now, what would it take for a disaster to be declared? the classification activates all departments to come on board. The only difference, you only go to an extent of a disaster declaration if it is a disaster, at a disastrous stage. Like for instance, you remember the floods in KwaZulu-Natal, where hundreds of people were washed away. Then it is at a state of a disaster. When the rain rains persistently, pneumonia period, for over many days, destroying the infrastructure, you need to escalate to a disaster level, because you might also need soldiers to come on board in order to assist people during the time of bad weather conditions. But the classification has it all to assist our people. The only difference is that it is not yet at a state of a disaster where things are at a worst state. We are not yet there. Yes, we have lost some human souls, we have lost the infrastructure, but it has not reached a state where we can say life has come to a standstill, soldiers must be on board, and everybody stop doing anything, concentrate on the bad weather. I'm sure I've answered your question, my brother. Is Home Affairs gonna be on board? The classification activates all departments. Home Affairs, all departments have been activated. In all these provinces that has been classified, that they must come on board. Each department comes with what is relevant to it. Home Affairs, when they go to KwaZulu-Natal, they know people who were affected by floods, those who are living in floodplain areas who lost everything, their clothing, their IDs, their birth certificate. So now the Department of Home Affairs in each and every province, they concentrate to what is applicable to Home Affairs, human settlement, etc., etc. All departments, the classification activates all departments to be on board, and they are all on board. Our communities who have not yet received help up to now, their immediate point of entry, their councillors, their municipalities, those are the areas which they must go to indicate that we need support of this particular department. How can we access that department? So everything is on board. That is why classification was done. The money allocated to departments, what does it do? Some schools, the roofs were blown away during bad wind days. So now some hospitals, some clinics. So now the allocation that goes to health, it has to prioritize the infrastructure that was affected by bad weather conditions. Similar to education, similar, there are roads where people cannot cross over and are an emergency matter. So now the allocation given to the department, basically it concentrates on the infrastructure. Agriculture, many farmers who were affected severely by field fires, where they lost everything, or where they still have their stocks, but unfortunately everything was burnt down, and urgent intervention is required from agriculture to ensure that the surviving livestock can able to see each following day. So now the allocation to departments basically looks at the infrastructure to bring life back to normality? And lastly, is the department proactive, or you just wait for a disaster to strike and then you start running around? As we are preparing for the month of April, we will be engaging, especially KwaZulu-Natal, around Durban. Engage all the traditional leaders, eThekwini Metro, business people, NGOs, civil society, as well as political parties, that we mobilize people who are living in floodplains to be relocated, not temporarily to community halls, because there is no good life in a community hall. It takes children away from schools. It makes people to be completely in an awkward position in terms of where they work. Now, human settlement can be in a space of providing dignified shelter, but you need land to do that. That is why we want to mobilize, engage everybody to be on board, so that people who own land should be willing to release their land at whatever cost that they might put forth as what they can give in exchange, so that we can acquire land, so that human settlement can be able, on whatever allocation is available, to ensure that dignified shelter is provided. And the priority are people who are living in floodplain areas. The reason why we need everybody to be on board, these people belong to political parties. We need political parties that let us engage these people to agree to be removed here. And once these people have been removed here, no one is going to be allowed to come and relocate here. And there will have to be a tough stance towards that, because if you don't do that, you will be doing one and the same thing. You remove a person here, you give him or her a house, he rents out the house, he comes back to the floodplain. Now, once people have been removed, there will be no way of anyone to settle in that area. That is why, therefore, we say we need to mobilize everybody to be on board. Our traditional institution, amakhosi, izinduna, our councillors, civil society, so that we take this as a battle for all of us. Firstly, save human souls from floodplains, relocate them to safe areas, but don't allow anyone to reoccupy the place, because you will never solve the problem. You will be always running around when there are heavy rains, trying to evacuate people in floodplains, something that you have done before. But if you did not become hard, the government will need to be hard on that one, because people in the floodplains, we just thank God, because one day we will wake up with a disaster, hundreds of people being washed away, because the area in which they are residing is not for human occupation. I think I responded to these questions, and then my colleagues will take the rest that will follow. Thank you, Les. Oh, unless if there's something also I did not answer precisely, even our technical can come in, probably during the second group.
Thank you very much, Minister. Online, is there anything?
How will we ensure that all these monies are used towards what they haven't been before?
There's only one question. Okay. Other questions here?
Hi, Minister. Karen Cousins from MCA. I just want some clarity on 1.2 billion rand allocated to KZN during that flood
those municipal grants being handed out. So my question is essentially why the provincial government seemingly has been bypassed in the allocation of these funds, or just some clarity on why municipalities are given this money and whether the money given to municipalities forms part of that 1.2 billion promised to President in 2022.
Last one. Gone. Minister?
Yeah, Masimula will take the first one. Even the second one, but the technocrats will come on board on your 1.2 amount.
Well, thank you very much once more, colleagues and ladies and gentlemen. The first question is about how are we going to make sure that these monies that have been allocated to various municipalities are used for the good purpose and therefore they are spent in accordance with what they are supposed to be by various municipalities throughout the country. I think firstly we need to acknowledge the fact that when disaster strikes many parts of the country, those different local authorities, being our municipalities, they do proper assessment and therefore suggest different projects depending on how the disaster would have affected a particular locality. And once those requisitions are made to us, as it was alluded to by the minister, indicating the exact points with regard to the initial amounts which were requested. Once we make a determination that this is the amount of money that we are releasing for a particular municipality, there is no way the municipality can use that money for other matters because understandably they are a ring-fenced intervention mechanism by government to relieve those affected communities in whichever way they might be finding themselves being confronted by those situations. And secondly, we do understand that both our councillors led by the mayors, including municipal administrations under the leadership of the municipal managers, are responsible enough for them to understand the dire circumstances, if not conditions, under which people find themselves in, and therefore those monies are going to be utilized in accordance with the requisitions. We equally do have mechanisms as well to follow up with regard to the expenditures on how the allocated and dispersed monies are being spent by our various municipalities. So we'll be using all those mechanisms, equally important at the point of accountability, to make sure that those necessary instruments of accountability are effective enough, appropriate, basically to ensure that the monies would have been used for the purpose they were supposed to. And obviously the other question on the 1.2 billion rands that was allocated in the previous financial year, the Director General or the head of the National Disaster Management Center, Dr. Stolle, they will come and respond on those technical questions. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Let me start with the question about provinces, why provinces are being bypassed. They are not being bypassed. There is an IGR institutional arrangement which is chaired by the minister. It's an intergovernmental committee on disaster. The premiers are involved. The MECs responsible for Cogta are involved. The national ministers who are responsible for Municipalities, dispersing grants to municipalities are involved. For instance, human settlements sit in that committee. The Department of Water and Sanitation, they in that committee, which is chaired by the minister. Transport is in that committee. So there is a big number of national and provincial government departments who sit in the committee that is chaired by the minister. There is a technical one as well, which is chaired by myself. It's called NGFCC, the National Joint Committee on Floods, which coordinates all the work of provinces, municipalities, and national government departments, because Cogta is a coordinating department. The bulk of our work is coordination heavy. So we coordinate all the structures. You would have noticed that the disbursement goes both to provinces and to municipalities. For instance, in Eastern Cape, they received money to deal with schools infrastructure and health infrastructure. That too has to be coordinated by this department. On the 1.2 billion rands, we can share with you the details about how far they have gone in spending that money. But in eThekwini, because the 1.2 billion rands was meant for eThekwini,